Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return from the international break, and it's the home stretch. This weekend, we've got the FA Cup, and we've got all the other leagues in action, so stick around, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch! Balotelli, Aguero!
Well, Jordan, we got Champions League next week. This week, it's going to be FA Cup and domestic league action. But how you doing after a nice, refreshing international break?
It was refreshing, Dev, and I'm doing well. Happy to be back, though. Happy to have club soccer back in our lives. Really, the big excitement, as you say, is for the Champions League. We'll be covering that on our Monday show. Can't wait for that. We've got some incredible matchups there. But this is a little weekend where we get to just kind of ease back into it with a few pretty high-profile matches that we'll be covering. But no Premier League this weekend, but we do have some tasty FA Cup, and the other big four leagues are back in action. So a lot to get into.
Yeah, and I will say, maybe tread cautiously here. We do have that big Champions League week coming up. We'll be back on Monday covering all that in our live. You can hop in and chat with us there. Maybe tread lightly here this weekend. We're coming off an international break. Some of these leagues are getting to that point where already things are getting decided. Bayern Munich's basically already won the Bundesliga. There's some other little permutations in there we'll get to. But maybe just an observe week. See what these managers do coming off the international break. See who's in form and firing. And we are going to get started, Jordan, with that FA Cup matchup that you mentioned. It's going to be Manchester City against Liverpool. This one sees Man City as home favorites of 3/4 of a goal, 0.75, and the total is set at a flat 3. Jordan's an FA Cup, but we're seeing two Premier League big boys come together. So what do you think about this matchup coming out of the international break?
It's a tasty one, Dev. I'm disappointed that it's on so early for those of us on the west coast of the United States of America. 4:45 a.m. for us. No, thank you. But maybe it's just as well, Dev, because I'm not sure we're going to see a classic here. The last 5-6 years, we've come to expect such entertaining matches from City and Liverpool, especially when they were challenging each other in the Klopp-Pep era. That era seems far, far away at this point. We've got Mo Salah on his way out of Liverpool, which is crazy. Is this the last time he'll play Man City? Possibly. Weird stuff. And just the way these teams are playing, really not a lot of consistency for either side. You kind of have to look for little pockets of consistency. For instance, Man City being dominant at home. That's still relatively true. They've played 15 home matches in the Premier League this season, won 11 of them, only lost one. So pretty good. Liverpool on the road here, not great reading. In fact, I was surprised by this. They've only beaten one team above 11th on the road in the Premier League this season. I appreciate this isn't the Premier League, but come on, two Premier League teams meeting at one of the Premier League team stadiums here. So this is a home game for City. This isn't a neutral. We're not at Wembley yet, but one more game. Get past this and you are at Wembley. So, Dev, this is kind of all City have left. I think the Premier League's gone for them. They did wrap up the EFL Cup, knocked out of the Champions League. This is kind of it. And they're just perennial FA Cup finalists, right? We at least see them in the final more often than not. They know how to win this competition. I think they get it done here at home. Just not interested in backing Liverpool on the road here. I want a little bit of a better price on City to get it done, though, Dev. Minus 145 on the money line. Definitely playable, but you know me, got to tack something on. So I'm going to tack on under 5.5 goals. That feels pretty safe for a match like this. And that brings it to minus 115, much more playable.
Right on, Jordan. Yeah, this sneaky high stakes in this one. Arnie Slot maybe getting a little bit of a hot seat here. The Xabi Alonso rumors are swirling, nipping at his heels there. And it's funny because you think about the way this team is built and how they recruited Florian Wirtz, Frimpong, both on Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen side before they were signed by Liverpool this summer. It just seems like a match made in heaven. It seems like it's only a matter of time. Now, Liverpool do have the Champions League look-ahead spot here, so they are looking ahead, but this is a cup. I was surprised that Liverpool are getting 3/4. I thought that was a little bit high for me. I thought about taking that there because I just think this game's going to be tight either way, but I do look at their head-to-head matchups here, and both of the Premier League meetings this season were won by City. They just have their number. And Liverpool, you mentioned their road record has not been great. City maybe coming into some form, some confidence after winning the Carabao Cup. Now, this is another trophy that they could set their sights on. But for me, it's like I look at that early kickoff time coming off the international break. I think this thing starts sleepy, starts slow. I'm happy to take the under 3 here, -103. A fair enough price in a game that I think, while there's a lot of goal-scoring talent out here, it's hard to see it getting to 4. So I think this could be a push at worst, but this feels like a 1-1 to extra time, or it's a 1 or 2-0 City win. One weird thing about that 3/4 of a goal for the line, right, for the sides here. Liverpool traveling to the Parc des Princes to play PSG on Tuesday or Wednesday this week are only get a half a goal underdogs. That set off some alarm bells for me because I was like, why are City really that much better at home than Paris is at home? I didn't know about that. That felt a little weird. So I still do see a little bit of value on that +3/4 for Liverpool, but I am just going to go with the under. Did want to point out, this is not an official play for me, but to want to point out that Florian Wirtz had an incredible international break for Germany. He had, I think, 2 goals and 2 assists in their first friendly matchup, and then was all over the pitch in the second. For Wirtz to have a shot on target here, -120. Not the best price ever, but it feels like he's going to have a green light here, especially with the hot form that he's in, to just fire one off. Hopefully that's on target. I like that play as well, -120.
Right on, Dev. It's funny you mentioned about Slot. I just wonder if he were to win the FA Cup or the Champions League, or even really just to qualify for the Champions League, it would be kind of weird to sack him, right? It's like, I won the league in my first season, and I get us to Champions League in the second one, and we're FA Cup semifinalists or something like that. It would be surprising, I think, but we've seen harsher things happen.
Yeah, we have. It feels like the mood around Liverpool is not super high. It feels like they're not getting a tune out of the players that are there. Yes, they've had a lot of injuries, and this will be another one we're gonna see. Szoboszlai probably playing right back. They don't have another right back that's available right now with Frimpong and Connor Bradley both injured. So we'll see. We will see. Jack in the chat says Jordan going with the Pete Hegseth hair.
Well, it's not the first time I've been compared to Pete Hegseth. It's
wow.
Doesn't feel great, but he's not a bad-looking man.
No, probably a good-looking man, but piece of shit. So
yeah, terrible person.
There you go. Yeah. Well, let's move on, Jordan. We've got more leagues to cover. We're going to head over to La Liga. We're taking a look here at Real Betis hosting Espanyol. This one sees Betis as home favorites of 3/4 of a goal, and the total set at 2.5. Jordan, these two teams coming back after international duty. What do you think about this matchup?
I think this one might be kind of fun, Dev. As far as La Liga games go, I actually heard a stat. This is pretty interesting. So both teams to score, yes, has the league that hits that the most this season, maybe no surprise, the Bundesliga at 58% hit rate. The next league at 57%, just behind it, is La Liga. That was kind of shocking to me because I generally think of La Liga as a very sleepy league with a lot of boring games. But this one might be an outlier because I think we could see some fireworks. This is strictly data play for me, honestly, Dev. Espanyol have been good this season. They've been scoring goals, and they've had pretty entertaining matches. We have seen over 2.5 in 8 of their last 9 matches, with both teams scoring in 9 of 9 straight. So pretty good. Then you look at the head-to-head data, Dev, and it's all there as well. Both teams scoring in 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two, and all of those went over 2.5 as well. So I'm not going to tack on both teams to score. I'm not going to take it on its own, even though it may have sounded like that because I was talking about the BTTS hit rate. I'm actually just going with the over in this one. Just going to be over 2.5. I think either team on their day capable of covering it on their own, but I do expect both teams to contribute. The data is strong for both plays, but I went with the over 2.5, slightly better price. Actually, this card says -121. You and I were able to find it at -118.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm taking the same play. 2 units on a La Liga over. What could go wrong? You could just take the both teams to score here at -125 if that price is still there. I think it might be drifting a little bit, but you just think, yeah, could there be a 3-0 either way? And you're just so bummed that you didn't take the 2.5. So I'm with you, Jordan. 2 units on this one. Again, strictly data play. You listed all the stats already, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But Jordan, let's move on because we've got another fascinating La Liga matchup here. This one, Atletico Madrid hosting Barcelona. Excuse me. This one sees Atleti as home dogs of a quarter of a goal, and the total is set at 3.25. Well, the fascinating thing about this, Jordan, is that these two teams are playing in the Champions League this coming week. The first leg will be at Barcelona, and then in a fortnight, they will turn around and they will play this same fixture. Now, Barcelona have everything to play for here. They are top of the Liga right now, 4 points ahead of Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid sitting in 4th place, but they are 13 points ahead of the 5th place team. I think that's interesting because I'm not sure how Atleti's going to approach this game. Maybe they don't want to show too much. Who knows what's going to happen here, George? So what do you think? What are you betting on?
Yeah, this is a tricky one because of that, right? They play 4 days later, switching it up. They've just played each other recently in Copa del Rey. Had 2 insane games there. Atleti on the home leg at the beginning won 4-0, scoring all 4 goals in the first half. And then Barca in the reverse tried to do the remontada, couldn't quite get there, won 3-0 in that one. So they lost on the aggregate 4-3. But, and here they are again, and then they play again with a quick turnaround. So could be tricky. How seriously do they approach the game? Which game's more important? I mean, Barcelona need to keep winning in the league to keep the title race alive with Real Madrid. But also, they have a chance to go and win the Champions League. A lot of people talking about them as favorites for it. So I'm going to leave the side out of it because regardless of how the teams approach it, we've got enough data to show that it should be pretty goal heavy. Not all the time, but often. Certainly the most recent meetings have been quite entertaining. So I looked for a goals angle here, Dev, and thought about just playing the 3 1/4. Don't complicate it. Take it where it's lined. Something about the fact that a clean sheet was kept in each of their last 2 meetings by someone, and we had exactly a 4-0 and then a 3-0. Made me think that line is kind of just about right, and I don't want to mess with it. So I cut the game in half, Dev, and I took the first half to go over 1.5 goals. And that's a nice, attractive price at +110. And I mean, this is sort of reaching for things, but in each of their last 3 meetings, we have seen over 1.5 goals in the first half. Seems like they come out hot, and then it'll either continue in the second half or it just kind of peters out. So like that at the Atleti leg in Copa del Rey, 4-0 in the first half, and then no further scoring. So kind of weird, but it's really just kind of a hunch here and a better price. Can we get 2 goals in the first 45? I think so. So +110 over 1.5 first half.
Yeah, George, this will be meeting number 4 of these two teams of 6 on the season. So they will be very familiar with one another. You're going to hear a lot about how Rafinha is out for this one, just as he was getting healthy coming back. He gets injured in the international break. We're going to see a lot more Marcus Rashford playing on that left side for Barcelona. And I look at this and I'm just like, what's Simeone thinking here? Because Diego Simeone, because he's going to do something weird. He's got some kind of tricks up his sleeve here. He knows this is a dead rubber for Atletico. It means everything to Barca. Atletico can't really do anything here except keep the game tight, and then in that case, maybe give themselves some momentum heading into the Champions League tie. But I could see Simeone just telling him, like, this game doesn't matter. Let's rotate a lot, put in some kids or some guys who aren't getting a lot of playing time. So I'm happy to take Barcelona on the money line here. I'm just going with that plus 125. I do think they're the better team, and I think you look at the situation here, I just think that it just means too much more for Barcelona, and Atletico are going to want to keep some of their tactics, some of their secrets close to the vest with the Champions League matchup coming so soon. And again, nothing really to lose for Atletico here. Sure, they can get into third place in La Liga, but third and fourth is the same, essentially, in terms of where you finish. So, yeah, give me Barcelona on the money line. You could play this minus the quarter on the Asian handicap, be a little bit safer in case it's a draw, but I just went with the money line, Jordan, plus 125.
Fair enough, Dev. It's bold because Atleti are scary at home, but they're not impervious. They lost to Bodo Glimt at home. They lost to Betis, I'm pretty sure, at home, and I think Real Madrid as well. So, yeah, not imperious. Or not impervious, I should say.
Yes. And impish for me to move us over to the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking a look here at Freiburg hosting Bayern Munich. This one sees Freiburg as home dogs of a goal and a quarter, and the total is set at 3.5. Jord, the smashing machine returns. Harry Kane got a much-needed couple weeks off. He got to chill. He was coming off an injury before that, so he hasn't had to play a lot, and I expect him to be starting this one. So what do you think about this matchup here with Bayern traveling to Freiburg?
Well, actually, Dev, most recently what I heard is that he's targeting a return for the trip to the Bernabeu in the Champions League, so he may sit this one as well. Not confirmed.
Would make sense, right? I mean, they're so far ahead, they don't need him.
Yeah, but not certain about that. But that was one of a few reasons I kind of left this alone. Bayern probably come in and win this. It's probably goal heavy, right? But Freiburg, they don't have the look ahead to the Champions League to worry about, right? Bayern pretty much have this league locked up. It would be
They do
pretty...
have to look ahead to the Europa, though.
That's true. Bayern pretty much have the league locked up, right? It would be surprising for them to bottle it at this point. It's mathematically possible, obviously, but I'm not sure how focused on this they are with that titanic clash against Real Madrid coming up and the first leg being away for them. So I kind of thought the plus 1.25 was a little too much to be given Freiburg. I believe it's now moved to plus 1.5 at the line. So if I were going to play it, I might take a stab there. Freiburg have been in good form, and Bayern can kind of mess around when they're on the road. So I was leaning that way, but something about it just scared me off. Who's going to be starting for Bayern? What are the teams going to look like coming back from the break? It just felt like a scary one, so I passed.
Right on, Jordan. Well, I'm doing the old, faithful here. I'm going with Bayern to win the game on the money line, parlayed with both teams to score. We've seen both teams score in 6 of the last 7 Bayern matches, over 2.5 goals, 7 of the last 8. You could play this that way, say Bayern to win and over in case they do win to 0, but you'd have to play it at the 3.5. A little too rich for my blood. Look, the turnaround of this at Bayern earlier in the season was a 6-2 Bayern victory. Freiburg, they've got something about them. I think they can absolutely get on the score sheet here. So the question is, could Bayern win the game? Are they going to be locked in enough? I think coming off of this break, I expect them to be. So I'm happy to take it here. Comes in at plus 140. So really good price there. Happy to take it. Bayern on the money line, parlay with both teams to score, and watch this space, George, because you might hear about that bet again on Monday.
Interesting. Because, look, most likely that is how this game goes, right? Bayern usually win and usually concede. So it's a sound bet, Dev, at plus 140. You could do a lot worse.
Hell yeah, George. Let's move on. We got more Bundesliga. This one, Werder Bremen hosting RB Leipzig. This one sees Bremen as home dogs of a half a goal, and the total is set at 3.25. Jord, I'm going to be honest. I stayed off of this one, so I'll pass it over to you. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Dev. I threw this one on because I'm kind of bullish on Leipzig at this business end of the season. I think they are playing pretty well overall and really do need to lock up Champions League for next season. They need to at least secure that fourth spot, and that work's not done yet. You've got Hoffenheim level on points with them. Someone else is right there too behind them. Is it Stuttgart? Yeah. So really tight up there for the Champions League places. And if you're going to secure that, if you're going to be top four, Leipzig, you need to be winning games like this. I appreciate it that it's on the road. Bremen have been a little frisky lately, but they're the 14th team in the Bundesliga. There are only 18 teams in the Bundesliga. If you look at Werder Bremen's home record and just look at their home games, they'd be 16th in the Bundesliga. So you got to be winning these games. So I'm going to do it, Dev. I'm going to take a road favorite here, straight up on the money line, Leipzig to get this done and go 3 points closer to securing Champions League. That's my handicap.
Nice, Jordan. Yeah, I just want to point this out. If you're looking at our screen here, Leipzig on the money line, minus 106. Leipzig on the Asian handicap is minus 103. Now, this is the same bet. However, depending on where you place this bet, if you place the Leipzig money line, you can get the early payout system on certain books. If they go up by 2 goals, you get the payout right there. You win the bet. If you do it on the Asian handicap, you may not do it. So I think that's worth 3 cents, in my opinion, Jord.
Yeah, absolutely, Dev. And there's another reason that you get a slightly better price on the Asian handicap. It's because some books, or at least on some books don't let you do the early cash out on an Asian handicap, whereas almost all books do on the money line. But they sort of go hand in hand, right? Because it's just some books paying you out early before you cash it out yourself because you're confident you got there.
Right on, Jor. Well, we got one more Bundesliga matchup. It's Stuttgart hosting Borussia Dortmund. This one sees Stuttgart as home favorites of 0.25, a quarter of a goal, and the total is set at 3.25. And Jord, this one has some interesting permutations here. Dortmund, second in the table here on 61 points. Outside shot, Bayern collapses. Maybe they could win this thing, or at least make it tight. Stuttgart in third on 53 points, and they are racing to get Champions League next season. So what do you think about this matchup, Jord, with Dortmund traveling to Stuttgart?
First of all, Dev, I misspoke during the last game when I was talking about another one of the teams behind Leipzig trying to get up there. I said Stuttgart, but I meant Leverkusen. Apologies there. Leverkusen are 4 points back from where Leipzig and Hoffenheim are, so still doable for them as well.
Stuttgart only 3 points ahead of them as well. So
yeah,
they
it's very tight. Yeah, basically third through sixth all have a shot. So yeah, Stuttgart not comfortable. They need to be picking up points as well, and they'll be looking to do that here, Dev. They got to get something out of this game. It's a home game. Marquee slot on Saturday. Should be rocking in there. And while I know Dortmund are second best team in the league, have been in good form lately, I kind of think this is Stuttgart's chance to get something here from Dortmund, and they have a pretty good record against Dortmund lately. In fact, they've been really good at home in general. They only have one loss this calendar year. At home, they have no losses. So pretty good there. In fact, they haven't lost a home game since December 6th, and that was to Bayern Munich. So no shame there. Really good at home, Stuttgart, and really good against Dortmund in general. 7 straight meetings they have not lost to Dortmund. So I think this should be an entertaining one. I think we will see goals. The total itself lined a little too high for me. I could see this a 2-1, maybe a 2-2, something like that. So what I went ahead and did here, Dev, was I thought about Stuttgart just minus a quarter, but I decided to hand ring, Dev. The hand ringer is back from international break. He's going to go Stuttgart double chance and over 2.5 goals in the match. And that comes in at a nice price, plus 110. As I say, I could see Stuttgart winning this, maybe 2-1, maybe 3-1 if Dortmund have an off day, maybe a 2-2 draw, scoring draw, something like that. But yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Stuttgart double chance and over 2.5 at plus 110. But I know you're going to tell me not so fast.
Yeah, we're a little bit oppo here, Jordy. A little bit oppo. I got Dortmund getting that quarter of a goal on the Asian handicap. I think that's too much to be giving the second best team in the Bundesliga on the road or not. They've been one of the best road teams in the league this season. Interestingly, these two teams back-to-back in terms of expected goal differential on the season. They are in a similar place, so in terms of XG. So maybe that's why the bookies are giving Stuttgart a quarter here, because they think these two teams are equal, and Stuttgart at home, give them a quarter of a goal. I think that's too much to be giving. So I like getting that quarter for Dortmund. They've been knocked out of Champions League. This is all they have to look forward to. And well, Stuttgart knocked out of Europa League as well last time. So both these teams coming off international break, they're going to be rested. But yeah, I just think getting a draw possibility on your side or the Dortmund win is just too good a value to pass up here. So I guess we're rooting for the draw, George, so we can both cash at least part of my play and all of yours.
Yeah, a 2-2 draw or a 3-3 draw, something like that.
Could be. It's the Bundesliga, baby. Well, we got one more matchup for you guys, and if you made it this far, please consider giving us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Really does help us out. Helps you guys out for your betting karma, because you're giving back to the people. We appreciate that. And look, there's only going to be more and more coming on thick and fast here for the rest of the season, George. We've got the Champions League coming up. We're going to be covering some of the Europa League and Conference League. Now that those competitions are whittling down, we may dip our toes in those waters. So you're going to want to check everything out here at the Soccer Sharps. Give us a follow and a subscribe. And that will move us into our final matchup for the weekend, Jordan. It's over in the Serie A. We're taking a look at Internazionale Roma.
Roma.
I got excited there. Internazionale Milano hosting Roma. This one sees Inter as home favorites of 3/4 of a goal, minus 0.75. The total is set at 2.5. And Jordan, is anyone in Italy going to be interested in watching soccer, the calcio, when this comes back? Because, boy, they flamed out of the World Cup. Pretty disappointing. I know all the Italians are hurting today, but what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Well, Dev, yeah, it's quite possible that they're all disgusted with the game of soccer. 3 straight World Cups they'll be absent from. Crazy stuff. But look, Dev, the Serie A isn't over. It doesn't end. It keeps going, regardless of what the Azzurri do. And this is, on paper, in theory, a titanic clash in Serie A. But something tells me, Dev, look, it's the late kickoff on Sunday, where they usually put the big game of the week, and usually doesn't deliver much fireworks. I think this is going to be tight. Roma, obviously, trying to get Champions League. Inter, all but certain to win the Scudetto. But they've kind of been faltering lately. We've talked on the show already about how Inter have not done well in the big spots. When they faced Juventus, when they faced Milan, just haven't been great. They've been beating up on the lesser legs in the league, and that's why they're in the position they are. But recently, they have been faltering. I think it's 3 or 4 matches now without a win across all comps. Roma have been streaky, I guess you could say. For a while there, they couldn't score goals. Then they were scoring plenty of goals, but just not from their strikers. And they've been up and down. I mean, hard to see Gasparini's footprint on the team yet. Maybe he needs another window or two. We'll see. But Champions League still a possibility for them. They're going to approach every game with that aim in mind. But I just think this is going to be tight, and I'm going to go under, Dev. I'm going under 2.5, minus 111 there. I think that's moved slightly. I think I got minus 108. Not a huge difference, but yeah, typically we'll see these lines at 2.25 in Serie A. So getting that full 2.5, I'll take it there. Take my chances. I could see this being a 1-0 or a 1-1.
Yeah, Jordan, I had that under written down on my card, was really thinking about it. And at the end, I just said, you know what? 3/4 of a goal for Roma is just too much. The past 3 meetings between these teams have been 1-0s. Roma 1-1, Inter 1-2. They were all 1-0. So that helps you, right? But look, I'm getting at least pushing half my stake if Roma lose here by 1. I think that's tremendous value. Against this Inter team, who you mentioned haven't been very convincing, drawing Fiorentina, drawing Atalanta, losing to crosstown rivals AC Milan, and drawing Como in the cup. They just have not been convincing against quote-unquote big teams in Serie A. And Roma, now that they've crashed out of the Europa League, losing to league rivals Bologna, which was surprising they didn't put up more of a fight there, but Bologna, no slouches. Now they've got to try to just qualify for Europe next season. They're sitting in 6th right now on 54 points, tied with Juventus, who are in 5th. So they got to get as many points as they can here. They got to keep this thing tight, even though Inter are the big boys. So I think Roma gets something out of this game. So I'm happy to take that 3/4 of a goal, Jordan. Too much. It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah, in a game that is likely to have only one goal in it, at least one goal apart. It is pretty good value to be getting those 3/4, and a little scary with my under because Roma have had pretty wild score lines in the last few weeks. But generally, we know this match. We know what this game's going to be.
I know exactly what this is. This is on Sunday. It's our only Sunday matchup. And then we'll turn around on Monday for the Champions League, Jordan. That's going to do it for all the games we're covering here. But before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
Yeah, it's that time again, Dev, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Well, Jordan, let's throw up those official plays on the screen. We'll read them out for the podcast listeners. I've got in the FA Cup, Man City against Liverpool, under 3 on the Asian total, minus 103. Over in La Liga, Betis and Espanyol, over 2.5, minus 118. Barcelona on the money line, plus 120. And then moving over to the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich on the money line, parlayed with both teams to score, plus 140. And Dortmund, plus 1/4 of a goal on the Asian handicap, minus 121. And finally, Roma, plus 3/4 on the Asian handicap at plus 103. Jordan, what do you got?
Well, Dev, I've got Man City on the money line in that FA Cup quarterfinal with under 5.5 goals tacked on. That's coming in at minus 115. We're on the same play in Betis Espanyol, over 2.5, minus 118. In Atleti Barcelona, I'm going first half over 1.5, and that's plus 110. Taking RB Leipzig on the money line, minus 106. VfB Stuttgart, double chance, and over 2.5 goals at plus 110. And finally, Inter Roma to go under the 2.5 at minus 108.
Right on, Jordan. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday. Jordan, any last words for the people?
Just say it's good to be back, and it's a real intense finish to the season for us here. It's going to be coming thick and fast, as Dev said. Matches, we'll be doing 2 shows a week, I think, until the club season is over. And the final game of the club season, as far as we see it, Champions League final, May 30th, I believe. So,
right.
Yeah, quite a few shows to go till then. So that's basically a full 2 months of saga. So manage those bankrolls and bet responsibly, because then we have a short break, and then we've got the World Cup, expanded format, 48 teams, an additional round. We've got a round of 32 now, so tons of soccer to bet on. Manage those bankrolls, people. And thanks for tuning in. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahim!